Welcome to the top 8 of the MCore All-Star League. This recording is a few weeks late because when I was going through the replay, right after I completed the match, it was completely bugged and wouldn't complete the matches, and so just randomly checked it again, and it seems to be working all the way to completion, which is really good because this match is insane. Really good match coming up here. So we're playing against Joe Cool. First thing to notice that he's playing 61 cards, which is pretty interesting. He's on mono black, and so his hand's fine. Okay, so this hand's not that good, showcasing the double white, double black, double blue mana base that we have here. So we're pretty lucky to draw that swamp that lets us be able to find most likely second swamp with this Evolving Wilds. He plays Black Cat, which is not that scary for us. Ravenous Rats is a lot worse. We're never going to interact with the Black Cat, so it's totally fine. But as you can see, most of our I guess it's just a Leon Spectre that requires a double black. And with a double blue card in hand and a double white card in hand, looking back, given time, I think I'd take anything other than a swamp, but I get a swamp. I remember that much. Yeah, really awkward that I didn't get an island, since my most likely plays here are like, turn 4 Foresee, turn 5 Archaeomancer it. Murder is typically not that great, but so yeah, we play land, holding up Murder. Just take a bunch of damage. He plays a rat. Probably gonna get rid of this flare. Yeah, since we can't cast it. So, quick draw there. We drew the second island, so we got really lucky. But the Foresee shows us all spells, which is interesting. The flare is no good. The Spectre and the Rat are both pretty good, and the Maggot is pretty good too, since we know he's likely to have Gravedigger. So I probably just put Flare on bottom and the rest on top. Yep. So I'm getting beat down a little bit, but no big deal. Spectre discarding a card, the Murder. Okay. So we have 5 lands now. Problem is we only have 2 black. If we had 3 black, we could play 2 spells in 1 turn, but so maybe it was good that I found a black. But yeah, so he discards excess land. I actually like doing this with the graveyards now that they pop out. I like to keep mine on one side and my opponent's on the other. So yeah, he's attacking. I think we're in a spot where we want to just trade with the 2-1 flyer since we're behind and we could potentially Rot Feast or Magnet it. So that's what we do. He plays another one, and then we discard one of our Archaeomancers. So here we're in a tough spot. We can Spectre again, but we can't Spectre Rat, which is tough, but I don't think we want to take too much damage, but if he has Gravedigger in hand, it's going to be a rough spot for us. So I try to play around the Gravedigger and just get the Spectre out of his hand, and he gets us for 3. He plays Liliana Shade, tough card to deal with. So I think I have all the cards I need though to stabilize. Archaeomancer. What am I getting back? Getting back a Murder, so I can kill this Shade or this Spectre. The problem is my plan was to chump block with that Archaeomancer on the Liliana Shade, and he had the Sorin's Thirst to kill my 1/2. Oh, 1/2 dead. So now he's got 7 mana. He can make this thing an 8/8, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't really want to take 11. Since like Bloodhunter Bat is just gonna kill me. So my mana being this tight has kind of crippled me this game. With only 2 black, so that happens to my deck. But I make him pump, try to waste as much of his turn as possible. Not very many options here. I can let him pump his guy up. So yeah, my play was just to choose to play Murder, take damage if he has Gravedigger to get it back. So I'm pretty dead. Just never drawing a second swamp, and never really being able to cast all this stuff in my hand just is making it really tough to keep up. So the bat kills me. So that's the end of game one. I got browned heavily. Wasn't really in the game at all. So sideboarding plan is to try to make up myself a little bit more streamlined, and not miss out if I have mana issues, whatnot. So I think I took out the flares and the Murder, some of the higher end cards, and tried to interact with his graveyard a little bit. Number of Rot Feast, Maggot, Vile, Rebirth. So let's go to game two. Okay, so game two. I'm on the play, but or I have the choice, and I chose play. The way the games play out, though, I actually think I should have chose draw, since there's so much discard effect, and it's not likely that the game is going to end by people curving out and tempoing the heck out of each other and being the head in the damage race. But from watching this game, you'll pretty much see how lucky I get. So this hand is pretty fantastic. We have a perfect curve of 2, 3, 4, 5. All we need to do is hit any untapped source by turn 4, and we'll be good. So we get to Expanse for the swamp first turn. We get to Rat him the second turn. Gets an Eternal Thirst. He rats us back. Looking at this again, I'd probably ship the Maggot, since it's not super relevant, and we can always get it back. So, kind of laggy with that. Click on the replay, but let's see. Yeah, we ship the Maggot. Then the next turn, we played a Spectre on curve, and he played a Spectre on curve, which made us ship another Swamp, but we drew a land anyway. Okay. So from there, we get to attack into his board. Now, if I was him, I'd probably trade Spectres, since you're on the draw. But he's content being the first one to go low in damage, and which is perfectly fine with me. As you can see, I'm playing the bat. Right, he attacks into me with his flyer, which again, I'm like totally fine with. I think he's kind of nuts for doing that, and I will easily accept taking 2 damage so that I can deal him 4 when I'm already ahead on the race. Alright, so he strips my last Evolving Wilds, land in hand, but my draw is Gravedigger, which is pretty perfect. So I get to attack with everything. And this replay is like lagging or something. I click the play button like 15 times. So he's definitely taking 4. A Rat is going down. Now, when I Gravedigger here, I can either get my Rat back or my Maggot. He has 3 cards in hand, and only a Rat in the graveyard, and I don't have a 5th land, so I think getting back the Rat is a lot better, because I can guarantee play it next turn. Whereas the Maggot, I cannot. Yep, so my logic holds true. So Sign in Blood, okay. Again, he's just taking more damage. Now he's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be attacking. Maybe I should be trying to trade off. And I'm totally fine with that, because now I get to attack for 6, and he's only at 8. So he has to trade with... He should be trading with a Spectre. If he trades with the Bat, that's bad, because I can Gravedigger it back. And he has to chump with a Rat. Does he have Sorin's Thirst for the 2-1? Sure. So he had to kill all my... Oh, Altar's Reap. Altar's Reap. Not going to cut it. Give him the cards, but he's just too dead on board, so I get to play a bat. put him to 4, and I still have 6 power in play. He probably can't deal with this, so I I think got lucky by stabilizing right at 4 mana. Never drew any planes to mess me up. Didn't drew too many other cards than just the good mono black cards, that same cards that he has in his deck. I just got better timing with it and was able to be on the offensive faster. And I think he should have realized he should be on the defensive immediately just by the nature of being on the draw in this matchup. So game 2, pretty quick there. Game 3, this is the epic one. Okay, boys, so definitely on the draw, I believe. And I don't know if these times are accurate at all. That would be interesting if they were, but I don't think they go down at any rate that's relevant to the actual gameplay itself. But looking at this hand, it's pretty good because I have turn 3 Divination, potential Spectre, Rebirth. Like this card, not nearly as good as the last hand, but playable. So yeah, we are on the draw. Altar's Reap. I sided that one into, I think, just for this game, and it's going to prove to be the MVP. Alright, so lead off with the swamp, so the Rebirth is open. Plays land. Passes. I draw my second Rebirth, which is kind of crappy. I would love to have drawn Essence Scatter or Mana Leak in any of these matches, but I just don't. So here, I have an interesting choice. I'm on the draw and I didn't get to make a play yet, and neither did he, which is awkward. So he's got to have some removal spells in hand or some 4-drops in hand. He definitely does not have Sign in Blood or Ravenous Rats or Liliana Spectre, so interesting. So here my only option is Divination, discard a card, which I think I'm totally fine with because I don't have a land in hand and I really want to hit land next turn. So I divinate into land rat, and from this position I can probably discard Vile Rebirth is what I would think I should discard. Yeah, okay. 4-drop, so he finally plays Shade. And I drew the swamp, so I can kill the Shade immediately, which I should do. But I don't. Think about it. That might prove to be a costly mistake. Because I know he has a land in hand too, so he's just going to discard that land. Now he Sorin Thirst my guy. And now he has a choice. And he does a very good job this game of playing around Sorin Thirst, so he always leaves 2 mana at least open. Now I draw Essence Scatter, but it's a little too late. Now I can't Sorin Thirst because it's too much, it can grow to be a 4/4. So I'm kind of stuck in my ways here. I can rat him, gets another land. So he's just going to ride this Shade to victory. I can't really block. He pumps. Again, he's not willing to go below 3 mana, so maybe he has Murder. I would like to draw lands, but I figure my play is now I can't really tap out. Since I have Scatter and Sorin Thirst, I want him to tap out. But I can't keep taking damage like this, so I think I have to block Altar's Reap. Yep. So it gets him to use a mana. I get to Altar's Reap. I draw some lands. Okay, those are good. So I play the Fountain and the Spectre. This play is pretty bad. I think I should have played the Evolving Wilds. So he murders my guy. I think I'm totally fine with that. Don't really care. And my Spectre gets a Gravedigger, which tells me he has another Gravedigger in hand. Eternal Thirst. Now that card's going to change the game. It's going to make it very difficult for me to deal with now. I have no bounce spells, and remember, I idiotically, mistake level, boarded out my Murder and all my Celestial Flares. Now I think I should have kept in at least the Murder. I go for the Vile Rebirth here. He could, I guess, he could Vow Rebirth in response, or he could can't Rot Feast or Maggot, or he could Unmake the Graves, but he doesn't have the appropriate mana or Convoke to do it. So I figure it's a good way to just make sure I get a Gravedigger out of his game. So yeah, I misplayed there. I should have played the Evolving Wild instead of the Radiant Fountain. That way, this turn, I'd be able to play Archaeomancer and get back something like Altar's Reap or Divination. But something... So I'll probably get that island, yep. So I have counter spells, so I can't deal with this board, which is a problem. But I can answer anything that he decides to play. But this threat is so incredible because my miss sideboarding, so there's just zero way for me to kill it if he doesn't tap low. So at least I can get a Rat and a Spectre back with this Unmake the Graves, and I figure I can Unmake the Graves with Archaeomancer, which is the whole reason why I built this deck, because I figure it's a really good control deck. But he has the Vow Rebirth in response, and I don't have enough mana to mana leak it, so he gets to take one of my guys, the Rats or the Spectre. So he takes the Spectre, I believe, if you look through my exiled cards. Yeah, he took a Spectre, which is smart. It flies. Now he has a 2/2. So interesting spot here. I have 3 black mana. I should, with 2 cards in hand, I should probably just Spectre and Rat him. So Rat, what does it get? Tendrils, very good to get that out of his hand. And Spectre, what does it get? Necrobite, okay. So if I go for like a gang block on his Shade, that would have been really bad for me. And I have Essence Scatter and Mana Leak open, so I figure this is fine, except he's crushing me with this Shade on board. Another thing I failed to realize here is that when I trade with his 2/2 and Chump, what happens? Oh, Eternal Thirst makes this guy huge. So that's even harder to race now. So I might not have wanted to chump, but if I didn't chump, then I just take a huge chunk of damage. Alright, so I got Archaeomancer. Target the Unmake the Graves. So or Altar's Reap. Interesting. So my thought now is the only way I can win the game is if I somehow block Altar's Reap and on infinite loop. So I need like second Archaeomancer, be able to like block, sack Archaeomancer to Altar's Reap, have Unmake the Graves in hand, bring back Archaeomancer plus something, and just hope to get there. So it's a tough race to have here. So I believe that's the play that I start to make here. And it took me a long time to figure this out because it's going to grow every single time. But if I keep this up, I'm always drawing 2 extra cards, and hopefully I can eventually keep up with the board and get ahead on board. If you already noticed, I have 35 cards in deck to his 48, which means I have some amount of card advantage going on. It's from my Evolving Wilds, from my draw spells, whatnot. So I get to play a few more creatures. Some flyers here. So I'm going to take a big hit this turn, I think. Yep. How much is he going to pump? 5, 6, 7. I take 7 to 11. He gains 7. That's such a huge swing. And he rats me. I figure it's his only card in hand, so should scatter it. Mana Leak. I guess Mana Leak is the right play because it's a dead card, like since he has 7 mana in play. So I figure I might as well get some use out of it while I can. Another thought that I have here is I can't beat this lifelinker at all. And I go in the tank and I think, well, I have to get my second white and hope that he respects Celestial Flare. It's probably my only hope. So yeah, I get the second white. And I just attack, and I go, okay, well, I'm not blocking. Now, what's really interesting here, Look at this board. 7 land and a 4/4. I'm at 11 with no way to interact with this guy. I'm just dead if he goes for it. But again, he's thinking to be protective, and he wants to always leave mana open, even though he could have just killed me there. Now, I did have a response to Sorin's Thirst, his guy, to gain 2 life to go up to 2. If he tapped out, something he needs to realize now is he doesn't need to play around Sorin's Thirst. He's at 30 to 4 life. Like, he doesn't need to play around it. His guy's a 4/4. So if I draw Murder or Flare, like, it's just game. Like, I kill this guy and I'm pretty ahead. He won't be able to land a creature for a while, you know. So, well, okay. Well, he smartly, you know, realizes he doesn't need to play around it then. Just play this guy, which I can answer, which is great. So I need to draw a Gravedigger. Perfect draw. So now I can get back Archaeomancer. Archaeomancer can get back. I'll make the Graves. And now the wheels are turning. The problem is I'm at 4 life. So I have 9 mana though. So what I can do here is really interesting. Search for the next black, which you can never have enough black mana. Gravedigger. Get back the Archaeomancer. Play the Archaeomancer, and look what we got. Get back, I'll make the Graves. Look, 5 mana. So I need a chump blocker, right? Archaeomancer is the best chump blocker, and Gravedigger is a fine chump blocker in case he draws a removal spell. So I can attack with both guys just fine. And again, I'm supposed to attack. Like, even though I'm getting destroyed in this race, like, it's very important that I attack here and keep the race, you know, do the damage that I can, and you know, not play around ghosts here. So when he attacks here, I just snap chomp. Now, how much life does he want to gain? Just 4 with 1 card in hand? Like, again, that's kind of a mistake by him. He could have gained a lot of life there. But he plays Bloodhunter Bat. Ooh, my gosh. And I'm tapped out of Acid Scatter. I'm down to 2. I'm almost dead. Like, raise your hand if you think I'm even close to being in this game. Well, I've got cards in hand that he doesn't. But I think the time is accurate. Time is slipping on my side. Like, I have so many things to do on my turn, and it's hard to think about and sequence them all. So in this play, I'm probably going to attack with everything. Maybe just, okay, I lead by Sorin's Thirsting this guy. That's actually a good play because I need to get in as much damage as possible. So I Gravedigger, get back Archaeomancer. Play Archaeomancer. Get back Altar's Reap. Alright, so finally I was able... The second Gravedigger draw was great for me because it let me play Archaeomancer twice. Now I have Unmake and Altar's Reap. So again, I can ship for all 6 because both these guys can chump. And what's the better chump blocker? Obviously Archaeomancer. So what's his play here? Pump a bunch. Right, to gain 9 life. Now he's at 10/10. Like, see how hard this is getting? I really crippled myself here. Ooh. Spectre is pretty brutal for me since I can't leave my counter open, but I need both my spells other than our Essence Scatter, so I think I have to ship the Scatter. Still lagging replay. I've clicked the button a million times. There we go. Okay, so he gets the Scatter out of me now. On my turn, I draw Rotfeaster Maggot, play it, exile his Bloodhunter Bat. He has another bat, but no other Gravediggers in play, so that's the best card. So that's pretty solid as, doesn't really do anything. It just does nothing against his huge shade. So what's my play here? Attack with everything, block with Maggot, and chump? Not quite. The best chumper is Gravedigger, because Gravedigger can get back the Archaeomancer. Then I can keep looping with the Unmake the Graves. So I definitely want to attack with probably 3 guys and leave 1 Gravedigger back. Ooh, interesting. I guess my plan is to chump with the Bloodhunter Bat because I want to gain life just in case he draws 2 more Bloodhunter Bats. I also potentially want to trade with his Liliana's Spectre, which could also be good for me to block with my Bloodhunter Bat so that I can loop that when I get my Unmake the Graves going back. So, you can already start to see this is getting super complicated on my end. Whereas our opponent just keeps drawing one card per turn. And this replay is really lagging or something. So I hit play a bunch of times and then it finally does stuff. So here I make both my blocks. And I figure I might as well cast Unmake this turn. I can get back a Spectre and an Archaeomancer. Now, it's actually really bad. I should let this combat happen and then cast Unmake, or never mind. I might be casting Altar's Reap and Unmake the Graves, which might be an interesting play here. Please replay. Go to the next step. So I cast Unmake, get back Spectre, Archaeomancer. Now I probably Altar's Reap the Maggot. What did he do? Where did the Spectre go? I don't know. I don't think he cast Reap. He must have cast Reap, which is weird. So I cast Reap, draw another Archaeomancer Sorin's Thirst, which is like Thirst is blank, but it can kill another flyer of his, but the second Archaeomancer is really good. So now I kind of wish I had some more blue mana instead of these dumb planes in play. So I feel really good at this point, because I can just loop, cast Archaeomancer, get back Unmake, have chump blockers. Eventually when I have two Archaeomancers getting back with Unmake, I can get back the Altar's Reap, and eventually just have him never gain life, and I'm just going to keep attacking him with, I have a flurry of creatures in play now. So Archaeomancer, get back the Reap. Get one of these cards in hand. Yeah. Okay, finally the Altar's Reap showed up in his graveyard. So that's interesting. He could have traded with my Bloodhunter Bat, but if he did, then he never would have been able to cast his Altar's Reap, because he's never in a million years sacrificing his Liliana Shade. It's like if I just have a murder, this game's just over instantly. So I get to get him for 8. And finally, I'm at a point where I can almost deal as much damage as him as he can gain life, but he's not going to be able to gain life anymore, because I can just loop these Altar's Reaps. Okay, so I loop Altar's Reap. Let me just skip to the next turn. Wow, you can see how long it's taking. So, draw some lands, draw a Gravedigger for turn. His guy grows. But you're seeing a lot of power in play for me now. So at this point, probably just going to gain some life so I don't die to double Bloodhunter Bat, or yeah, I'm fine. Like, this game's pretty locked up. It's just a matter of time. So it's interesting. Oh yeah, because I drew Gravedigger, I could get the Altar's Reap back this turn and make him not gain life again. If I didn't, then I would have had to have gotten the Unmake the Graves back and let him gain life for a turn, which would, again, crush my clock, because he'd gain so much life and it would take me so much longer to kill him. But yeah, look at this. I hold back the second this Gravedigger here, potentially because he has 2 cards in hand, and if he had 2 removal spells plus drawing a third, I would be dead. So I just wanted to play around it, So he does have Tendrils of Corruption, which gains him 7 life, but interestingly enough, because I left back enough guys, he has to use it on an attacker. My play in response is to Sword Search my guy, so I gain life, he doesn't. And grows this guy, but I don't care. I'm just Altar's Reaping, so hopefully now, yeah, I'm catching up. I got him on low life total. So when he beats here, sack the Archaeomancer, he's in a tough spot. He has to attack. My guys have evasion, so it's got no other play really. He did Tendrils my guy, my Gravedigger, so that does put him up back to 23. So off my Reap, I drew more draw spells, but he's at 23, and my clock is, I think this is accurate, was getting super low, and I know I have the game locked up, but I have to kill him as fast as possible. So I'm playing like lightning fast as much as possible, just trying to cast the spells that I actually need to cast. And I know I don't need to cast these draw spells. I shuffle on this Gravedigger because I figure, if he has one removal spell, I'm dead. But at this point, I conceded the fact that I don't have enough time, and I need to deal as much damage as possible. If he rips it, I basically gave him the out. If he ripped the removal spell and he has it, he got me. So instead, he draws Gravedigger, gets back Liliana Spectre, makes me discard a card. I'm fine with discarding a land. And then he beats down. No, he quits the beatdown, which is really interesting. Which basically says now I can't attack on the ground. I have to attack in the air. So my hand is just gas. He has nothing. I could just play draw spell, find a removal spell, attack in the air for 6, and he's going to be dead real quick. So I think I do that. Oh, didn't see the first card, but probably put it to bottom. Mana Leak bottom, Maggot bottom, keep the Sorin's Thirst on top. Maggot, I guess I keep. Doesn't really matter, but Sorin's Thirst is Spectre. Ooh, I guess I attack into it anyway. That's probably a bad play. I should have killed. Yeah, that's a really bad play. I should have Sorin's Thirst it. And look, now I do it. So I missed 2 damage there because I'm so low on my clock. I just had to play. So here, I don't even know why I'm playing the Maggot. Just to get this flyer. I mean, he has multiple flyers in his graveyard, so I don't know, like, I'm being an idiot, like, not playing spells that I should really care about. Black Cat, that's like, does nothing. If he attacks here, it's fine. Here, I just go right to the attack, hit him for 6, down to 5. And if you look at the board, there's just about nothing he can do here. If he draws a removal spell, that's great. Nope, but it's just a rat. So I discard. I have 17 seconds. He has 0 cards in hand. I have 6 powers of flyer on the board. If he attacks with his Shade, I block, sack to Altar's Reap. This game's over, right? Oh. He sends. Okay, so now I'm not at 17 seconds. I have to block, Altar's Reap, sack my guy. Okay, now I have 8 seconds. 9 seconds. And now he's pumping his guy for no reason. Okay, I'm like, alright, that's fine. Go to my turn. I'm like, alright, attack and you're dead. I have 9 seconds. I make a rookie mistake here. I go declare attack. And he goes, what's his play? Does he have a play? First, let me poll the audience. Does he have a play here? Is there anything possible he can do to beat me with 0 cards in hand and no flyers when I have 6 power in the air and he's at 5 life? He does have a play, and this is really interesting to me because I'm not primarily a Moto player. I primarily play in real life. So what is he doing? He's pumping his Shade. Why is he pumping his Shade? Alright, if I was an experienced Moto player, I would have F6'd and just ignored all of this stuff. But basically, I guess I'm too used to playing with, this guy, he's Joe Cool. I consider him a friend. Just like friends that I play in real life, basically when you're dead on board, my friends just scoop. If I'm in his spot, I say, good game, you got me, man. Now, I do realize I have almost no time on the clock and it's hard for me to win, but I basically crafted this game state where I could never beat his Liliana's Shade with the Eternal Thirst on it, and I just played an insane game where I had to, Altar's Reap and try to barely stay alive at stabilizing at 2 life against this huge creature that I knew I couldn't kill because, I took out all my sideboard cards against it. So I'm really dumb. But anyway, I'm really confused here, and I'm like, what the heck is this? So I hit OK. And I'm like, alright, let me attack. And he fucking does it again, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And look, my time's already dead, and I'm like, I didn't even get a chance to respond, and I lost 8 seconds. And so I should have F6'd, not responded to it, attacked my flyers, and killed him with no time left. And that's like the easiest game. I basically won this game 2 minutes ago. So I'm really confused as to what just happened there. and I keep hitting play. He keeps activating his guy, and I'm just super confused. But I figure it out pretty quickly, and he's just basically doing his due diligence, right? He's trying to get his win because I'm timing out. And so that intrigues me. Because if you did anything like that in real life, say you are, say he was up a game and we're winding down on the clock in real life, and when you get to 50 minutes, you play 5 extra turns. After 5 extra turns, the game ends. Time is called. And if you won the first game and you didn't lose the second game, what happens? Well, whoever won the first game wins. So the first game, the player who won the first game is incentivized to stall the game out. And that's what this felt like to me. And I just haven't. I don't play much Moto at all. I just play some of these standard Pauper events and stuff. So we have a little chat after the game, and I admittedly was slightly disrespectful, and we had a great conversation about it. But as a host of the event that I was running this league, I should have reacted a little bit just more respectful and nice to him. I basically told him right after the event, I was like, good games, man, but you don't actually expect me to report that as you won. Like, you were dead on board and you just stalled the game and timed me out. I was like, that was very unsportsmanlike. Why would you do that to me? Like, I know you. It's not like, I kind of argued that it makes sense. If this was a PTQ winning in for a top 8, I'm in the same competitive mindset, insanely competitive, right? And I would do anything to try to get a win when it kind of meant a lot. Something for me, with these leagues and standard Pauper events, they're free to enter. They're very competitive, but they're also just casual in that we're not playing for very much. And the fact that I know he's a big supporter of standard Pauper and stuff, I just didn't think that tactic was something that was done. So I didn't play around it, right? All I needed to do was F6 and I would have won very easily. But the fact that he even went for it just is interesting to me, because if I put myself in his shoes and I know I'm dead on board and I have zero cards in hand, he's got lethal in the air, I'm just going to hit the concede button. It is fun for me to see if they make it before the time, but have some respect for me. I'm a competent player. I have 9 seconds left on the clock. I'm sure I can kill you. If it was in real life, what do? I just say, attack with my flyers, you're dead, good game. Great game, actually. That was a fantastic match. So we kind of got a little heated with it at first, but then we talked it out and kind of made amends. But what I'm more interested in is just the community. What do you guys think should happen in situations like that? Basically, to resolve the issue, he basically said he didn't want to ruin a friendship over it, and was kind of unhappy, but he was willing to concede. And I was like, in my mind, it was not even a question of that. It was more like, well, if you don't concede there, then my parallel again to real life was even the Saito stalling thing. To me, it's cheating. To me, it's ban worthy. But when you're dealing with a program with a chess clock, it is within the limits. So again, I can't fault him for what he did if it made sense. It just didn't make sense to me to do it in this type of situation when we know each other and it's not that big a deal. But that to me, my stance is that doing that is something that I would never do to someone in this situation, and I consider it unsportsmanlike conduct. So yeah, I kind of said my reasons. I know he said all of his reasons to me. I was kind of disrespectful to him and kind of lashed out at first. Kind of a knee-jerk reaction was to be like, dude, I'm not reporting for you. A win. You didn't win. You were dead. That's absurd that you would do that to me to try to get the win. He helped me teach me a little lesson on how to conduct behavior. I appreciate that. So thanks a lot, man. We'll definitely keep that in mind for dealing with future similar situations and whatnot. If anybody, though, has their opinions, love to hear them, because I can see arguments for both my side and his side pretty easily. But to me, it's interesting to see what people will actually stand up and fight for, I guess. But yeah, so technically lost to the clock, but he gracefully concedes and doesn't think it's a big enough deal to fight over. And for me, I just argue. To me, it's arguing on principle. Like if he was adamant and just said nope, this is how it is. It's like, well, I can't really argue with it, but I would lose a lot of respect for that kind of behavior. But I do go on to the top 4 because of his concession. And so far, I've been looking for the replay for that, but haven't been able to find it. So if I find it, I'll post it. But yeah, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. I know this one was a bit of a doozy. All right. Sound off in the comments if you care to. Thank you.